Welcome back to No Man's Sky, everyone. Jason here, and I am so pumped up because there's a new update coming. Now, it hasn't been officially announced, and we haven't heard any rumblings from Sean Murray or Hello Games about it, but I've been doing some deep investigating, and there has to be another one coming out. And I'm going to show you why right now. But before we get into those details, I just want to give you guys a huge shout out. We are at 74,000 subscribers. That is ridiculous. That is crazy. I love you guys so much. 74,000 is crazy, but we're trying to get to 100,000. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that red subscribe button, hit that like button, especially if you like No Man's Sky. You should be here. You should be on Captain Steve. You should be on Zane's World. There's tons of channels that do No Man's Sky stuff, and I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button for me, and let's get into those details. So, for all the old school players, everyone should know No Man's Sky came out August of 2016. Alright, came out, everyone hated it, everyone felt like they got lied to, blah blah blah, but Hello Games was still working on it, and then they were doing small patches here and there. They were fixing things. They put up a few patches here and there, a small update here and there, nothing major. And then 1 year later, August 11th of 2017, we got update 1.3 Atlas Rises. This was the first huge, big update that actually added a ton to the game, you guys. Everyone was so excited. This is when it first started to turn around. We had the foundation update, and they threw in some features here and there. They were helping, and they were patching some stuff up. But Atlas Rises was the first big thing that came out. That's when everyone was like, okay, you know what? They're actually working on it. It's not good yet, but they're working on the game. And remember that, August 11, 2017. Well, we went through the mojo of that again as well. So we started getting little patches here and there. We got a few updates, smaller updates, but then all of a sudden, July 24th, 2018, the next update hit, and it's literally called Next. This is where I jumped in because it finally came out on Xbox One. They added a whole bunch to it. This is like third person. This is what changed the game fundamentally. We also got multiplayer finally, so people can actually join up and play. I mean, it wasn't as good and robust as it is now, but this was the first taste of multiplayer. And that was in July 24th, 2018. And so it was right before the 1 year anniversary, because if you noticed on the Atlas Rising update, it says it's been a year since No Man's Sky first released, and it's been exciting. Okay, so they actually marked it a year. The next update came out, and it was a little bit before. It was July 24th, but it was still that one big update for the year. All the other ones were like little patches here and there. This was the huge update that we were waiting for. So we're like, okay, we're getting some good stuff here. And then silence again for like another 8 months, nothing. Until August 14th of 2019, No Man's Sky Beyond releases, and this is another huge update. We didn't get anything else really. We got some patches here and there, but nothing major. Nothing that was adding or subtracting or whatever to the game. It was just small little smidges here and there. Beyond update came out, and that was another game changer. August 14th. They've been doing this once a year thing for the first 2 years of the life of this game. But then something weird happened. We started getting these small little updates. We got the Abyss update, we got Visions, we got, smaller things that were adding to it that were more, more substantial than a patch, but not as big as the big updates. And we started getting them more and more frequently. All of a sudden in 2020, I noticed we started getting them way more frequently. Like the Living Ship update released February 19th, 2020. Now that was another, it wasn't a game changer, it wasn't a huge update, but it was a substantial chunk that they added. So I said, okay, I kind of like this, releasing, little small bits and pieces here and here. But then all of a sudden, not even like a month later, we get, on April 7th, we got the Exo Mech released. And so I was like, whoa, that was really quick. We're used to having it once a year, we get a big release. These are smaller for sure, but they're more frequent. And I kind of like that. Almost a monthly release. And continuing that trend, we looked at the CROSSPLAY update was June 10th. Now, we didn't get anything in May. I think the explanation for that is we had a whole bunch of quarantine. You know, the world kind of stopped there for a while. Nobody was doing anything, and so that slowed everyone down. Everyone had to work from home, and so I think that's what slowed it down. But June 10th, we got a CROSSPLAY update. Now, a lot of people weren't really excited about it, and it was kind of buggy, but I think that was more to do with the working conditions. They just didn't have enough time, and they wanted to get it out because they have a schedule to keep. And I truly think that, because then in July, we see the Desolation update, July 16th, Desolation update release. Now, all of this is to say, we've been getting more frequent updates from No Man's Sky. And so Sean Murray, Hello Games, they are working their butts off, and instead of making one huge, massive update, they're giving us little bites here and there. Now, my theory behind that is, I truly think that they are actually building all these pieces and releasing them separately, but they're also going to build a one big umbrella update. And the reason I think that is, every time you check on their new releases and their patch notes, every time you look at it, they are still working on the Beyond update. I mean, look at this page. It says Beyond Development Update 11, and that's in May of 2020. We're beyond that. We're in the Exo Mech, or if you want to say Living Ship or whatever update. But they keep going back to the Beyond Development update. And so I truly think that there is going to be a big update still left in the year that's going to kind of add all this stuff together and make it one thing. Because when No Man's Sky Next released, it was called No Man's Sky Next. Every game, you know, that was sold in stores, if you bought it in a box, it said No Man's Sky Next. And they did the same thing for No Man's Sky Beyond. It is called No Man's Sky Beyond. And so I think that they still have one huge update. It'll bring it up to, maybe it'll bring it up to 3.0, because we're at 2.61 or 2.62 right now. And for those of you keeping track, the next update was 1.5 and the Beyond update was 2.0. We all thought it was going to be like a brand new game, and it was. They added a lot to it, but they called it 2.0. That's why we're at 2.61 right now. That's the build we're at. And I think that they still have a few more, and actually I have proof behind that. When the Desolation update came out, Sean Murray put out an article in ID at Xbox to kind of announce the update, but towards the end of his write-up about, you know, all the features of Desolation, all the freighter stuff that he was adding, which is really cool, by the way. But at the end, there's just one little tiny little tidbit that gives me a lot of hope. He just writes, as ever, the team has continued to work on more updates. We have several more significant releases planned for this year. And we're excited to share them with the community when the time comes. Our journey continues. We have several more significant releases, meaning there are still some tidbits coming out. Now, what I think is going to happen, and this is all speculation on my part, is we probably have 2 or 3 more, like, little tiny updates, and I call them tiny updates, but like the Living Ship and the Exo Mech and Desolation. We have 2 or 3 more of those, and then we're going to have one capper update that just kind of boxes it all together. And it'll be called like No Man's Sky something, just like No Man's Sky Next or No Man's Sky Beyond. It'll be No Man's Sky something, and it'll just encapsulate it all. That way, number one, they can sell it at retail. They can update the game on the disc, and they can just say, okay, when you buy the game at GameStop or Walmart or whatever, instead of buying the old game and having to go home and download all the updates and catch up, this disc will have everything so far, and they will call it something. It'll be No Man's Sky something, and I don't know what it's going to be called, but I think that's what it's going to do. Number one, it's going to add a whole bunch more features, but it's going to kind of box everything together so it's all one game again, instead of having these little tiny tidbits here and there, these little tiny patches. So my prediction is in August, we're going to get another update, and I think it's going to be soon. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to get an update. Middle of August, there will be another update for No Man's Sky. I'm willing to bet money on it. If it's going to be a big one or a small one, I don't know. But middle of August, I mean, August 11th, August 14th, that is the 4-year anniversary for No Man's Sky. 4 years, which is crazy. And so I think they have to do something for that. There's going to be an update in around that area. You know, August 11th, August 14th, one of those, you know, that week or so, it's going to be there. We're going to get an update. I'm almost willing to bet on it. So hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, hit that like button for me. And if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading videos all the time, and I will see you guys next time.